You know, like I asked a question once when they were talking about a particular chemical producing cell death, okay? And you should understand, I know nothing about this topic area. But I said to them, I said, so is there an opportunity with this particular chemical as a treatment for cancer? Because that's one of the problems with cancer is the apoptosis, the failure of cells to die, right? And I can tell you, everybody in the room just went, what? And they said, oh, this is a toxic chemical, so short answer is no. But, you know, that's the kind of thing, and you could get that question from an external examiner quite easily, where it's like totally, and you would have never thought of it, and you would have to say, well, you know, it's something I've never thought of, and it's probably not wise to say that it's the kind of thing a reasonable person wouldn't think of. Probably don't want to express that opinion, but
and you can't say at the end something like, "I hope that answers your question," because
I think that's entirely acceptable. Although you can overdo that. It's perfectly acceptable to say, "Does that answer your question?" Most of the time, if it doesn't answer their question, they're not shy about pointing that out to you. Okay. Yes.
Do you, in your presentation, is it appropriate to kind of propose the next steps of research, like even if, like where you think
absolutely.
the field should go?
I would say that if that isn't in your presentation, and it depends on, again, I would have that as a second priority, but you must be able to answer that question. That's an absolutely standard question. Like, what is the next step? And may I say that for any of you who want to have careers in the academy, or indeed research careers at all, then what you really want to be able to do is at the end of having produced this dissertation, you want to be able to articulate, at least in your own mind, a research program. So I said program, not project. So you should be able to say, on the basis of what I know about this topic area, and the basis of the research I've done, here is the kind of area that I should be exploring, or that I have a special competency to explore, and here are the kinds of projects that if I had enough money I would undertake. That's a very common question. If I gave you $500,000 or $200,000 or whatever it happens to be, what would be your next study? Perfectly reasonable question. Yes?
Is there a policy on extra slides, so supplementary slides that you think there's going to be a question on and you want to have something prepared already?
Yes, and that's entirely appropriate. I don't think I have any here. No, I don't. But it would be entirely acceptable for you to have another 20 slides behind that have other diagrams from your dissertation. That's perfectly acceptable. The one thing you don't want to say is, you know what, I anticipated that question. I knew you were going to ask that question. I'm going to go to slide 42. Go to slide 42 answers the question. Well, you know what happens? Everybody in the room ups the game, ups the pressure. Okay, well, I wonder if I can ask him a question you didn't prepare for. Okay, so you do, a certain amount of modesty is both attractive and appropriate, because most of us in this room have much to be modest about. Yes?
When you're answering your questions, is it appropriate or not appropriate to kind of gear the answers to the people in the audience as much as the committee?
No.
So that kind of everybody is understanding?
No.
No?
You're answering the committee. Too bad about the audience. I mean, we have audience members, some people bring their parents.
I mean a general audience, not necessarily family.
Well, I would, I mean, the people, the audience is completely irrelevant. You don't care about the audience. Yes?
Should you bring a printout of your slides for the committee members? Would that be helpful, or is that not a good idea?
I don't know that it would be helpful. It might be, but normally, I mean, it might be. Yeah, I mean, I think if I were to do that, I'd probably print it off 3 per page. But I don't think I would do that. I'll tell you why. This is one of the reasons why we haven't given you these slides. I didn't give you a handout, and I didn't give these slides to make them available online, right, for a variety of reasons. First of all, there's material here that's copyright, and I don't have the right to distribute it. It's fair use for me to use it. I can't distribute it. Secondly, these are speaker notes. They're not intended as study notes. Thirdly, if I give them to somebody, you know what happens. like you've all got attention spans that are measured in minutes, right? You're gonna, okay, and you're done in 2 minutes and, you know, time to go to sleep. So if you want people to be engaged in the process, you don't give them the punchline until it's time, until you've done the setup. So you might, I think not, would be my answer. I would ask my supervisor, is my answer. My final answer. Any other questions? Okay, so you are going to be putting this up where?
It'll be on the FGS website by tomorrow.
Okay, so we'll see whether that's possible.
It's our first time recording something like this, so if it's not perfect, it will be for the next one.
Okay, so good luck with your presentations and thanks for showing up. We appreciate it.